Hello, everyone. Thanks for checking out this special episode of Really Dicey. This is Manny. I'm here with Sean. I'm here with Matthew McCloud of Lurking Fears. And today, we're going to talk about GM tips for the Walking Dead RPG. So if you're interested about the game, or maybe you have the game and there's stuff about it that you're concerned about trying to run, this is the perfect video for you. Let's first talk about Lurking Fears first. Like, look, I'm sure I mentioned that name and people are like, maybe I've heard that name somewhere at a convention. How would you describe Lurking Fears?
Yeah, hopefully you have. I mean, a lot of people, we've at a lot of conventions. But yeah, we are basically an open resource for GMs to run games at conventions, and we connect GMs and players with publishers to run games at conventions. We have contacts with several different gaming publishers out there, like Free League, that can get us material and often exclusive material at cons to run and allow GMs to really get into it and have a lot of fun with some organized play.
Mm. How big is the crew?
We have almost 70 GMs now. Yeah, yeah. Depending on where in the United States we can probably reach you. Most of us are in like in the Ohio Valley area, like somewhere like what I call the Louisville to Columbus corridor. Columbus, Ohio corridor, where most of us are spread in there somehow. But yeah, we branched out to a lot of other places too.
So I know, Sean, you've played this for the first time at PAX Unplugged with Lurking Fears. So let me ask you both this: what is your overall impressions of the game?
It brings a unique twist to RPG realm. So that's what I think my most favorable outcome was that it is different from any other RPG I've played, and it really does capture everything I expected from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, and I feel mission accomplished if you felt that way from playing the game. That's exactly what we were striving for. We were intentionally afraid when we were running this. It's like, man, another zombie game. We've been playing zombie games since the '80s, one version or another. But no, it really strikes the tone, and it really strikes the tone of the IP itself. The Walking Dead between the comics and the show. It does use the Year Zero engine, but the great thing about Free League's Year Zero engine, it's easy to tailor to a certain genre, and this is no exception. Uh, the survival aspect and the stress mechanic of the U Zero engine really shine in this game, and it allows the interactions with the walkers to be really ramped up.
I'm impressed that Lurking Fears was able to get this new game that just come out and then able to run it successfully at a convention. Were there any concerns, any trouble you may have had in trying to learn this system for a convention so quickly?
No, honestly, one of the good things is that we do have a lot of really great communication with our publishers that we run games at. We know the staff, the people that are in charge of putting the game out, and we plan for conventions 6 months out. We do just especially the big conventions, like Origins, Gen Con, Game Hole Con, PAX Unplugged. We're scheduling them 6 months ahead, so like we're already putting it in the schedule, blah 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 blah, and then we're telling the publishers, okay, we need this, as soon as we schedule this, so that our GMs can get it, play test it, know the material, have any questions, and we do a lot of play tests with each other and with some of our other fans in the group who can play test with us and keep a lid on things on new projects like this.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because every all of your game masters are very well versed in the games. I felt like they knew everything they needed to know. There was really no question that couldn't be answered.
No,
And
we yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, it just seemed like there's a lot of play testing, and I was gonna ask about that if you did a lot of play testing, both online and in person.
We do. I mean, honestly, in every aspect of the word, I know it's a cliche almost now to say professional GM, but we do work hard on it. We have our Discord room that we use as a Thunderdome, basically to test out not only new material but new GMs that want to come in and be a part of it. We vet our GMs. We have a vigorous survey. I'm sure you saw like the little QR codes we had at the table. where you can rate the game and rate the GM and have any comments about it. And yeah, we are in constant contact with each other to like, hey, we got this, you got this, do you need help with that? And we just have like a great group of people that know how to run a game and be able to break the game down and have it run together well.
Let me ask you both this. When it comes to tone, zombie survival is not the same thing as dungeon crawling and Dungeons and Dragons or anything similar to that. Uh, what preparation do you do to kind of prepare the feel of the game?
Yeah, definitely. The material itself in the game does a great job of doing that. The Year Zero engine in this has some great survival mechanics in it as well. There are instances where you have to hunt, for resources, just basic food and water and stuff like that. And then there are effects on, like dehydration and hunger that can affect your character really, really badly. And it's easy to, as a GM, you bring in the setting, the flavor, to bring in the isolation of the game, and the maps and stuff that kind of come with the game, especially with the pre-made games, scenarios are done in a style that really kind of sets the tone. Like some ramshackle buildings, deserted cars, that kind of thing, already on the map. It really kind of helps sets the mood. Um, we batted around the instance of like having some, of course, like the Walking Dead music, and that kind of stuff in there playing, but we voted against it because at cons that all just becomes, too much background noise. Uh, so yeah, we just relied on the rules itself, again, the survivability, the fact that you have limited resources already, that you have on your character. You just have what you're carrying, and it goes pretty much in detail what you're carrying, down to like, bubble gum in your pocket. you know
Yeah.
as if you don't have it, you don't have it. You've got to go find it. So yeah, it's really good at that mechanic. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, hey, I was wondering, how many tables did you have running at PAX Unplugged? Because of course I had the table that I played at. I played the 1 hour starter scenario. Do you remember if we had more than you had a couple tables, or was it just the one? Or
Yeah, no, we had one table running. No, yeah, we had one table running in the 2 hour game nonstop, and then we had a couple others interspersed that were running like 2 and 4 hour games of The Walking Dead. So like in total ballpark figure, I want to say we ran somewhere around 40 Walking Dead, 40, 50 Walking Dead games at the con, which for PAX and Plug is a good bit. Yeah,
yeah.
uh, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so what I remember too is that the setup was really nice. I show up at the table. Um Fortunately, I didn't have dice to be, but hey, you guys had dice, so that was really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, we made sure that, and even Free League was really good about, they brought a whole box of brand new Free League dice, and the six was like the Free League flower on it, and it just regular black D6 dice, because yeah, they know their game, and they had that available to us to be able to give out as well. But yeah, we were, especially with the 2 hour and the 1 hour games, we were, we used the maps that were as part of that game. When we were considering like the 2 hour game, we looked at the Wolves Den, which is actually the quick start of that game, would come in like the box set. And I looked
Mhm.
at it, and I looked at it with several of my GMs, and I'm like, man, this looks like this would fit a 2 hour window. So that's
Mhm.
like I said before, we tested it. We ran it a couple times, timed it. It was like, yeah, 145,
Mhm.
154. Yeah, this will easily be a 2 hour game. And as long as you keep it tight, and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it worked really well. And then even like the 1 hour demo that we're running of the game, the
Golden
Golden Ambulance.
ambulance.
Yeah, I kind of took some initiative with that one. There was a map in the book, but it was on a little bit on the small side. You would have had to enlarge it and all that stuff. But I made like a little diorama and just put it, it's set in like a parking garage. So I just made like a little diorama and put like some Matchbox cars in it, and they can
Yeah.
just change the floor every time, and have some little minis and stuff in there. So that really saves a lot of time in there too, and again sets the mood. and a tone of the game. Just because you don't have to waste a whole lot of time describing things, you see it right there. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, I like
So yeah.
the creative use of figures from Zombicide and
Yeah.
some other games. So yeah, I love that you had that set up. It made it more engaging. You didn't have to do as much theater of the mind,
Hmm.
which was really good when you got a table full of people you don't really know. You don't know the different styles of play, so you just have really good kinesthetic, you know, material out there that we could interact with. We could see everything. A lot less questions that way. So it made that 1 hour session that I did a lot easier in that sense. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you appreciated that, because yeah, that's exactly what we strive for. We know we're on a clock, and we want to be able to provide as full of experience in that time for the players as we can. So
mhm.
in order to save time, it's like this is it right here. I don't have to tell you, we're in a grimy car park with, this car over here, that car over here. You see it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and
So yeah.
another thing, you talk about the stress mechanic with the increasing horde size. It can be just a small crowd to that ramping up of that stress, which can easily include the additional pressure of zombies that they keep increasing in numbers because of whatever disturbance you're making. I feel
Hmm.
that miniatures and a visual representation really kind of add to the level of that anxiety, because now you get a really good visual of, oh wow, I'm cut off from the other group. How am I going to get back to the others? I get split. Now there's zombies between us, and you can really picture that a lot better, I feel, with all the miniatures or some sort of visual reference.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. Reaching back on that, yeah, the stress mechanic works really well in there. And then also there is what we call in the game, built in the game. We have a little dial. I don't know if you saw the GMs use the dial. They may have showed it to you.
Yeah.
There is a zombie threat or walker threat dial, and each time a character like flubs a roll, like especially like on what we call a push, basically like a push roll. If they try, you can always or yeah, if you go to get a if you go to, you can try to reroll again, but you'll add a stress die into your roll. And if you fail on that stress die, you messed up badly enough that you've made noise or made some kind of disturbance, and that GM can pe- click up the zombie dial, and more zombies come because they notice what's going on.
So let me ask you a question about anchors. So when I think of zombie horror role playing games, usually what I see happen all the time is not the community trying to escape and survive from the zombie hordes. It's usually just the PCs working together and escaping, and then the NPCs, if they get eaten, they get eaten. But with anchors, it forces the characters, well, forces the players to really invest themselves with the NPCs and other PCs to try to survive together. Um, so, what's been your experience with anchors?
Yeah, yeah. I You can really see the players' lights eyes light up when you start to explain the stress, because whenever an action ends and they've got all this stress and they're like, oh my god, I gotta get through the rest of this scenario, and I've got like three stress dice on me already and stuff like that. Yeah, you can talk to NPCs and relieve some stress, but you can also talk to your anchor, and just have a chill, share a cigarette or whatever, can of beans, and relieve all of your stress. Can remove all, if it's your specific anchor, it's your person you talk to, it's your confidant, your anchor in this world, literally. And so you can relieve all your stress doing that. And I really, really encourage that, as part of the gameplay, is to allow role play, because I will say, okay, what do you two talk about? Let's have a snippet of the conversation. I kind of stole a little bit of that from Darkest Dungeon. I don't know if you've ever played that video game where they're sitting around a campfire and like somebody says something, and they relieve the stress, and then somebody says, yeah, completely stole it from that game. I'm like, what's your conversation? But yeah, you impose, or allow, even really more allows the word, you allow the players to have a serious role play moment where they can talk to each other, because they know their background and they know a little bit about their anchor's background too, so they can have that discussion amongst themselves and how it's going to relate to this situation. And then very good. You've relieved all your stress. Moving on.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, really great mechanic. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Sean,
because
oh,
I
go
was
ahead, go
just
ahead.
gonna say, because you also have elements to those relationships, like your dark secrets and all these other things that can can definitely be played out or sort of just be edged around in those moments as well, that just make them even not only just meaningful for a mechanic, but meaningful for that role play and character development.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's encouraged to have, to have that, it's already baked into the pre-gens for the game. So that's great too. But yeah, it's highly encouraged to make that as part of your character. If you make a regular character for like your own home campaign, to have that kind of stuff with an anchor and be able to discuss that stuff. So yeah, absolutely. It's part of your background that you make.
Hmm. Sean, when you played this with Lurking Fears in PAX Unplugged, did you notice that anchors made the game feel different than I guess other role playing games or other role playing games you've played in the past?
Um, so in the session, the Golden Ambulance, it was just a 1 hour. So we didn't, it was like kind of set from the beginning that we wouldn't have an opportunity to use the stress alleviation mechanic so much.
Hmm.
It was going to be like, hey, it's kind of like going into a situation where the weapons or the tools you have are all you've got, and you're just going to go through, and there's just almost like there was no opportunity for like healing, so to speak,
Hmm.
mentally or physically. So it was
Yeah.
just you're in and out.
Did you play the 2 hour game as well though?
No, I did not. No,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
didn't have a
And
chance to.
yeah, okay. Well, then you might have missed in that one. Yeah, and that is kind of a nature of the beast thing of those lengths of sessions. We design the 1 hour sessions to be just the basics, and it usually
Yeah.
revolves around combat because everybody wants to know how does combat work in this game, you know. So you just provide the situation and you throw them in it, and it's like you got to survive it, and then if you survive it, we're done you know if you're still messing around and the time is up on that 1 hour, well then the zombies just overrun everybody, everyone dies, sort
Yeah.
of a thing. But in a 2 hour game, yeah, you definitely are allowed some downtime in the middle of that one, after you encounter one of the npcs to come up with a plan, and talk with your anchors and get things done in there. So yeah, 2 hours allow the 2 hour games, obviously by the length of the situation, allows more time to allow those mechanics and stuff to be played in. And then of course the 4 hour session, you have like the full experience of the game. It's like a normal con
Mhm.
scenario. You have the time to play every aspect of it out.
Hmm.
Yeah, that 1 hour session, of course, with any new group and new game, there's that bit in the beginning where you're just getting familiar. You have to read your sheet, learning some
Hmm.
mechanics. So yeah, it really kind of bites into that time. However, I will say that it didn't mean that the anchors didn't mean anything. It just meant that we couldn't use the stress relief mechanic. But what they
Hmm.
did mean is that we were all aware that there were people in the party that were important to us. So that
Hmm.
as we got into dangerous situations, we knew that, hey, if I have to do something to save someone, that person's important to me,
Yeah, and maybe not that other person too. Exactly, right? Decisions are hard in this
right?
game. Yeah, it really is. It really does enforce that, loyalties and amongst your friends and stuff like that. Absolutely, it does. It allows you to make those decisions easier because you're like, yeah, well, that's my bro. So sorry, dude. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, you can. Yeah, even in a 1 hour game, you can at least do that, and they still have like their secrets and stuff like that to get done. Like some people may, I think in some of them, they're like, if you get a hold of the ambulance, you just take off, leave everyone. One of the people had that as one of their secrets. The 2 hour game was really good because everyone had different agendas. It's honestly, because it's quick start, which you can get easily. So spoilers, for those of you who want to play it. But the gist of it is like that's another aspect of the game, is that you have like a group of people that you have, that you work with, like your not your family, but um, but group that you have, and a couple in that group got together and just kind of took off with all your stuff. so you got to go and get it. Go back and get your stuff. Um, so yeah, you have the group is called like the Haven. They're based on what kind of headquarters you have, and and then two people took off a lot of your stuff, so you got to go get it. And other people, people in the group have their own agendas and thoughts and feelings about that couple. Some of them want to save them, some of them want to kill them, some of them want to bring them back into the fold. So yeah, that gets played out in that 2-hour game. That's really great.
That that actually really reminds me of one of my favorite board games of all time, Dead of Winter by Plaid Hat
Oh yeah,
Games.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
but in order to succeed in that board game, you have to, everyone has to, well, the colony has to survive, the haven has to survive, but at the same time, individuals can still win, get individual wins if they accomplish their secret agenda. So,
Hmm.
yeah, in some ways, that's a lot like that.
Yeah. Are you all familiar? I can definitely tell you're zombie fans. Are you familiar with Max Brooks' The Zombie Survival Guide?
Yes,
I'm
yes.
familiar with it,
Yeah,
yeah.
World War Z and stuff like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
When you read the Haven rules in The Walking Dead, you'll feel a direct correlation to what Max Brooks was talking about in that book, because it lists several different types of havens, like a prison or a store or like a jail or something like that, and it lists their attributes. Like this one's really secure, but it's really isolated, so it's hard to get to stuff. This one's in the middle of a city, so it's easy to get things, but it's not really secure. So you have to trade up and down and work on one, while you're still inhabiting it. Yeah.
It's funny, you reminded me. I worked for TCGplayer.com for 5.5 years. And when I did my interview for them, they asked me, what's your zombie survival plan? That was one of the interview questions, which was great, of course. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I even use it in the game. Like if they're in a house and zombies are after them, and it's a second floor, building. I'm like, wreck the stairs. We all know from the books, zombies can't climb, so wreck the stairs. Tip number one. But yeah.
Combat. So the Year Zero engine is definitely not the D&D 5e D20 combat system.
Mm-mm.
So I know you've run a lot of these games. What's been some of the mistakes you see people do in trying to learn the system? Any tips about that?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is on this one is it is a dice pool kind of system. You pull so many dice from your main attribute and so many dice from your main skill, and that's the amount of d6s you get to roll. And a lot of people think, of course, more dice, more sixes that come up. And we're doing good, which is great, but it's odd how it doesn't really. You can be rolling 8 6s, and you just need just one six most of the time to succeed, and it will defy you every time. Um, so I do encourage people to not be scared to take stress, because it does add another die into the pool, to get you in that situation. The problem is, like, that's the only die. Like if you roll a one, that again the GM can crank up that zombie meter. It's a fail. It's only a fail if it's on that stress dice. Basically, is what we're saying. There's a difference between not succeeding and like failing badly. Yeah, don't be scared to get some of those stress dice to add to your pool. You can't have more than like five. If you get on your fifth dice, you roll like reactions of you stress out, and you can either freeze up, freak out. There's several different things you can do, but you're basically combat ineffective. In that fight. So um, yeah, that's I wouldn't be scared to grit those stress, especially knowing you're going to, get once you get through the game, through that encounter, you're going to be able to talk to your anchor to be able to remove that stress, or at least some if you talk to somebody, and get rid of that stress. I would definitely encourage that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that given the setting, being in the convention and playing the scenario I did, um, we were definitely willing to take risks. I saw a lot of stress dice on the table because we're like, okay, we've got a little while let's just go for it. And I saw stress mounting quickly. Whereas
Hmm.
I would think that in maybe either in a longer session or especially in a campaign setting, we might be more thoughtful about how we had stress, knowing that it could make our situation worse. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
And speaking of combat, so I think the rules do a great job explaining one-to-one combat. But
Hmm.
what's your advice concerning like groups and groups of zombies? If we have, let's say, one or two players left, and there's like a like 20, 25 zombies coming at them. How do
Yeah.
you deal with combat? How do you make it so it's not a very, very quick total party kill?
Yeah. Yeah. And you want to encourage on the players really quick that they want to be quiet and they want to escape. They do not want to stay and engage, you know, because noise draws more combat. Somebody shooting a gun will crank up that stress meter, I mean that zombie meter, and stuff like that. They'll find that out very quickly. That gather, definitely gather zombies in their direction and stuff like that. Uh, and the big mechanic in the game is like during combat, all the players go. They all go first. Fine, they all go first, and they only need one success because they've been living in a zombie apocalypse. The they know that they have to get them in the head to kill them. So it's a one shot thing. They know to go for the kill shot. So they only need one success to get them in the head. It's not like I did so many points and hopefully it gets the zombie down. You know, it's that kind of thing. So it is a one shot, one kill kind of thing. The zombies are highly disposable. But if you have not eliminated all the zombies in your area by the time all the players gone through, then it's all the zombies' turn. However many zombies you have in there, and then they always hit. That's the bad thing. There is a D66 table of things that can happen to you. You may just get knocked down, or you may be able to scramble away and just get a stress or something like that from a close call. But it goes all the way to zombies pile on you, rip you to shreds in one time. In one attack. So it's really important to get as many of them away from you clear enough to run. And it's okay to run and leave your friends. It's definitely fine. If it's that kind of situation, you're seeing your friend over there and there's five zombies around him and you're clear, you might want to just go.
But that also kind of stresses the importance that, like you said, all the players go first. So having a lot of friends around can
Mhm.
help as long as everybody's not shooting weapons and escalating things. But yeah,
Yeah,
having more people to help reduce the threat level, right? Because that's really
exactly.
what combat's about. Combat's about reducing the threat.
Yeah, yeah, they have to go in that combat to know we've got to clear all these out and get out of this area before more come. And we got to clear them all out this round because if yeah, it's like, and that's the beauty of this game too. It's like every great zombie movie. Uh, the players can make this plan and do this and do that and have everything executed to the T, but it only takes one person to mess up. you know, for everything to just start cascading failure. That is the great thing about this mechanic, because again, yeah, that work person may not get down this zombie and then it's their turn and it's bad. This person starts dying, which causes this person to get upset, and
Yeah.
then it just keeps going. It does. It's cascading failure. All it takes is one person to not
Yeah.
get that part of the plan done.
I don't know why, but my mind just went to the movie I Am Legend when he
Yeah,
goes into the building and he's in there while they're all just sort of hibernating during the day. And he's just trying to be really quiet. It's like they're all there. Last
yeah.
thing you want
Well,
to do is make a sound.
exactly. And what was it, Dawn of the Dead, where they're in the mall? They had all that time in there to build up those buses and stuff with all they wanted with man catchers and barbed wire and all and saw blades and stuff. One guy screws up and cuts himself with the saw, and then this causes this to happen. It's just, it's bad. It just takes one person.
Is there any extra tips, anything I haven't mentioned about that you want to share about running The Walking Dead?
Don't be afraid to be ruthless. I mean, this is a survival game. if you're going to run this game, you need to have that session zero, and let them know under no uncertain terms, I am here to kill you. you know, these things are walking machines of destruction everywhere. And they have one purpose: to eat you. So you got to put that out in your session zero really quick. If we have a problem with this, we may want to play another game.
Maybe a gentle way to put that is, I'm going to provide many opportunities for you to die. So
Exactly. Exactly.
do your
I mean,
best to avoid it.
exactly. Yeah. However, whatever your approach to that group is, but you need to make sure they know, and under no uncertain terms, the safeties are off. you know.
I was telling Manuel, I think the game that I really like, that this, for me, I can compare it to, there's a computer game called State of Decay.
hmm
And in that, you have your little colony, and you yourself as the player can swap between your different members of your community.
hmm
But if someone dies in that game, they're gone. That's it. There's no respawn or anything. It's like you may
Yeah.
invest all this time and training. And actually, similarly, which is kind of weird, when I played the 1 hour session, you talked about even having chewing gum in a pocket. I felt it odd, but it made sense in a long-term sense, that my character had a book on beekeeping.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, well, that's really cool. I'll never use it in this 1 hour session, but that's cool that that's a thing. And it just reminded me that you
Yeah.
have these people that will know these things, and that they're
Yeah.
important for that knowledge.
And you never know. It could have made a nice doorstop in that in that stairwell. The doors in that stairwell could have. Boom, put it right
Mm,
there. It's fine.
mm.
What have I got? Oh, I got this
Thinking
book
outside the
over.
box.
Exactly, exactly. Um, but no, no, yeah, you definitely do not be afraid to be ruthless. Again, these characters. I have not run this game as much as I have run the one of my other favorite ones that uses the user engine, Twilight 2000, again for Free League. Man, you want to talk about an absolutely brutal game. I mean, I have accidentally killed characters in that game. I'm like, man, I did not mean that to happen, honestly. you know, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, these six players die. Because explosions and everything back. But yeah, the people are very fragile in here. You only have 3 hits. I don't care how strong you are or how weak you are. You got 3 hits. That's it. And then you allow these people to play on their backgrounds and stuff on each other, and when somebody gets injured or or hurt or something like that, it forces that mechanic.
Mhm.
There's also another great thing that I have played on characters in this game, The Walking Dead. um, the injury table, it talks about different critical injuries and stuff, and like a time that they have got to get this fixed before they will die. you know
Yeah.
and I did that on one character. It's like he was shot in the middle of a firefight, and I'm like, for 2 points, but it was a critical injury, and I rolled on it, and I'm like, he's bleeding internally, he's got like 15 minutes.
Mm.
But they're in the middle of the firefight, they're getting the firefight done, blah 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 blah, and they're on their retreat and moving out, and they're like, okay, we're okay, right? And I'm like, yeah, everybody but him, falls down. And they're like, why? He just bled out. What? And I'm like, nobody went to go check him. He wasn't aware of what's going on. He's getting weak, and boom, down he goes. So yeah, yeah. Again, it allows the GM plenty of opportunities, again, to yeah, like you said, plenty of opportunities for death,
Yeah.
death, and more death. I mean, but that's the game. This isn't sunshine and unicorns. This is a world of the Walking Dead.
Right. It's gritty.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So Matt, if anyone wants to talk to you or to the rest of the team at Lurking Fears, in Lurking Fears, where can they go and see all of you next? What cons are you heading off to?
Oh, absolutely. We're about 10 cons this year, which is amazing. It's at least 10 that we're starting on planning. We just finished one, a local one here. But yeah, we're going to be at Gary Con. We're going to be at Chaosium Con. We're going to be at Origins. Origins is kind of like our home. We love that con in Columbus, Ohio. Uh, we uh, um, we have like 3 different gaming rooms in Gen Con. Um, two of them that are Lurking Fears. I mean, yeah, two of them are Lurking Fears rooms, and one's like a Free League specific room in the exhibit hall. Where that we just run Free League games. Um, so yeah, we're there. We're at Game Hole Con, PAX Unplugged, a bunch of other little local cons again in like the Ohio Valley corridor, stuff like that. But yeah, really, if you want to see where we're at, our website's under construction right now, but you can find it if you're on Facebook. Just type in Lurking Fears. You'll find us. We're the only one there, and join the group. And we're always talking about what we're doing.
I just like to add that my experience was a pure pleasure with Lurking Fears. Very organized, professional, and courteous. Very accommodating. So, if anybody out there wants to experience a game con and do anything with Lurking Fears, I'd 100% recommend.
Thank you again for that compliment, and it is by design. I actually invented Lurking Fears seriously on the premise of people coming to cons, like especially like Gen Con and stuff like that, and spending a serious amount of money on hotel rooms and badges and eating out every day and stuff like that, and they go to schedule their games and they come to play the game, and the GM's like reading from the book, just stone face monosyllable, reading from the book, and they're just not having a great pleasant experience with the game, and they're like they paid all this money, they come to set this 4 hours, and no, this isn't what I'm here for. And I'm like, man, I've got a lot of friends that can do this really well. And that's what made me kicked me up to start running this group, and have a professional feel. We not only have people that can run the game well, but we also have staff that help us get the game scheduled, help the players that are coming into room know what table they need to go to, so we're not wasting time hunting for the table. Is this the One Ring table? Is this the Walking Dead table? When you walk in, exactly where you got to go.
All right, excellent. Well, any last words before we wrap up?
No, thank you guys really for having me. I love talking about this game and any Free League games or any other ones that you want to talk about from our other publishers. We'd be glad to talk to you about them. We really enjoy running them. We love having the opportunity, but to have the close relationship with the publishers to bring them to the players. So yes, thank you so much.
All right. Well, viewers, I hope this was a great help to you in running your Walking Dead RPG. Stay safe. Be careful out there. We'll see you next time.